Okay, so welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting for July 10th, 2019. We'll follow our standard agenda, which is outlined in the issue 728, TSC issue 728. To start with, does anybody have any announcements that they'd like to share? Nobody else has any. The one I think I'd mention is that I did open an issue in the TSC repo suggesting that we move the project board where we track issues to be taken to the board from the TSC repo to the admin repo. So if anybody's been using that to sort of track what we're doing on that front, if you can go there, take a look. And for TSC members, just let me know if you think that doesn't make sense. It's my suggestion, since we now have like a single board rep that's covering both ComCom and the TSC. And if there's no other announcements, we'll move on to the items tagged in the agenda. The first one that was tagged is 24.347. However, it's been removed from the agenda as it sounds like Anatoly's still working on it, unless Anatoly, you have something you want to add on that front?
I have no updates. I'm still working on it.
Okay, so
good to have it on the TSC agenda.
Yeah, we've removed it from the agenda, and basically, I guess if there's something that needs to bring it back on, you or somebody else can add it back on.
Yeah, for sure. I don't anticipate that happening.
Okay. Let me promote Gabriel here. Okay, the next issue is 21.551, which is new core modules go under namespace. We did discuss that last week, and we basically, the kind of agreed way forward was to hopefully close the existing PR, because there's a lot of sort of discussion and stuff that's gone on there, and open a new one that would clarify what's being suggested. Miles is following up with LJ to see if he's okay with closing that, pursuing the new PR, but I don't see anything new, so I don't, unless anybody else has something to add to the agenda on that front or add to the discussion, I don't think we need to discuss that one today. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So the next one is nominating Beth to the TC number 718. In the issue, we have, I think it was 14 out of 18 plus ones for the nomination. And my recommendation was that we were going to we should go forward with that this week. The one wrinkle is that the Red Hat acquisition has closed, and that would put IBM as a company, even though Red Hat, I think, is going to run as a separate company. It's still owned. So my assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we would need to count people from both companies together. That would put us over the numbers based on the current count of the TSC. And so there is that wrinkle. I guess my preference actually would be that she still be confirmed, and then IBM, as per the governance, would need to figure out how we would address those numbers. At least that would be the recognition that she was nominated. I had a few thoughts, and I don't know, so I'm looking for input from the rest of the TSC on how we might handle that. One thought I had was like having the IBM TSC representatives rotate maybe every 2 months, with possibly the hope that that the TSC members could still attend as an observer, though the person who's rotated out, so that for example, Sam, if he's giving updates on what's going on in terms of our security counts and stuff, can still attend to do that. But I'm looking for any of the non-IBM TSC members to kind of chime in and give any thoughts on that kind of going forward in that way.
This might be a good conversation to have when Rich is around, because Rich seems to be very up on all of the policies.
Sure.
But no objections to nominating Beth from me.
Okay. So I think we don't have enough people to come to a conclusion. I just want to start the discussion. I'll open an issue to sort of, I guess I'll add to the issue where Beth has nominated, a few of my potential thoughts, and we can move on it there. Any other thoughts before we move on from that one? Nope. Okay, the next issue, which we removed from the agenda, is the DOCTA, the update the TC charter. That should land in the next week or so. I believe the PR I have in the OpenJS Foundation that sort of covers the governance for how that, what needs the approvals and so forth, should land this week. And it's been removed from the agenda, so we should just see it land at some point. The next issue is the tracking issue 476 for updates on the TSC, updating the TSC on board meetings. As the new Node.js board rep, I'll be handling that going forward. The next board meeting is July 26th. And I'm starting to ramp up. I'm going to talk to Tracy and Miles as our past Node representatives to see if there's anything that I'm not aware of that's going on and help me ramp up a bit. But if there's anything, that you have concerns about or issues that you think should be brought to the board, just let me know, and I'll, add them to the list and make sure that, once I figure out how to get things raised and all that, I will do so. Any questions, comments on that front? No? Okay, so let's flip over to our strategic initiative review. So we don't have Miles on the NAPI front. I don't think I have anything to add. Gabriel, do you have anything to add?
Just backports for an API 5, getting slowly there, waiting for them to land.
Okay. I think the other thing that's interesting to mention is that you did find a number of modules this week with fairly high download counts. That API, right, that we weren't previously aware of.
Yeah, we've added several 100,000 weekly downloads to our pipe, I think.
Okay, found. Taking some note.
Get the link for.
So hopefully that shows we are making some progress on the adoption side. Just looking down the list here to see who else we have and the strategic initiatives. I think actually that's it. I think we're suffering a bit from the summertime. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the agenda for this week. So is there any other issues or things that people wanted to talk about before we close out the public session of the meeting? Okay, if not, then thanks for everybody for attending and for those watching and we'll see you all next time. I'm going to stop the stream.